Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for another video. It is time to look at some best bets for all of our ranked college football matches we have coming up for Week 14 of the 2025 college football season. It is officially the final regular season week of the entire year. The season has flown by, but they saved the best for last. We have some really elite matchups coming up. A lot of teams vying for that final playoff spot, the at-large bid, the conference championships. There's a lot at stake coming. Basically, starting this coming Friday and Saturday, we're going to have teams battling it out. It is elimination time right now. We're going to look at all these matchups, predict the outcome, but we'll be focusing on our best bets, the money lines, the spreads, the over-unders for every single ranked game. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment down below. Who do you think is going to win these games? What's your favorite matchup coming up? What's your favorite score prediction? What's your personal favorite best bet? Drop it in the comment section. I will respond to every single comment. And we got a lot of games. Let's get into it. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone, kicking everything off with some really good Friday night games. November 28th, this coming Friday, 12 p.m. Number 7, the Ole Miss Rebels. 10-1, the big question, will he stay or will he go? This has been dominating all of the college football air raids the last couple weeks. Lane Kiffin, after this game, the moment this game ends, we're supposed to be getting an answer on where he's going to be the head coach. Will it be Ole Miss? Will he be coaching the Rebels potentially in the playoffs? Everything is setting up for them to make the playoffs here. Could he possibly leave this team? Will they let him coach if he does leave? That's all the unknowns. He could be going to LSU, could be going to Florida, he could be staying at Ole Miss. It could be a complete smoke and screen, but that is a complete fog hanging over this game, hanging over Ole Miss. Are they able to keep their eyes and their minds on the prize here? That's winning this game and getting to their first playoff. They're going up against the 5-6 Mississippi State Bulldogs. It is going to be in Starkville. Ole Miss 78.4% chance to win. Mississippi State 21.6. Right now the Rebels 7-point favorite, 62.5 over/under. That's actually a pretty close spread there. But don't forget, this is a rivalry game. Anything can happen in rivalries, especially when one team has so much off the field stuff just dominating the areas. Chambliss, since he took over, he's having a great season, 2,700 yards. You have Lacey closing in on 1,200 yards. Ole Miss 37.2 points a game, throwing for 305, running for 189, giving up 20.2 points per game. Their defense has actually been playing pretty good football the last couple weeks. They got off to a slow start this season, but now they're starting to look like that squad from last year. Mississippi State, though, Jeff Lebby's team, do not underestimate their offense. Chapin's not a bad quarterback, just keep the turnovers down. Bulldogs 31.5 points per game, throwing for 242, running for 153, giving up 28.4 points per game. They have a defense that they can rely on. Some people are calling for the upset here. It's definitely a possibility, but I think the Rebels will have just enough firepower to rebound. Close game. They pull it away in the end. They win 32-24. We have Lane Kiffin's squad winning this one. They cover the spread, but we're going to go with the under. ESPN 12 p.m. Number 13, the Utah Utes. It's 9-2, not their best performance last week. They were dominating time of possession, completely controlling pace these games. And then last week, they let Kansas State come in there, a sub 500 team, and they ran for 471 yards on a top 10 Utah Utes defense. I don't know what happened, but that was not a good performance. May have sidetracked their playoff expectations. We'll have to wait to see once a new poll comes out. Right now, the Utes, Kyle Whittingham, second longest tenured coach in the country. I love Kyle Whittingham, but for God's sakes, man, you avoided the loss last week, but you laid an egg in about as big of a way as you potentially could have without actually losing the game. Utah 82.9% chance to win here versus the 5-6 Kansas Jayhawks. Kansas needs a win here just to get the bowl eligibility. You saw what Kansas State did, but I think Kyle Whittingham, he was pissed off. This team as a whole was pissed off. You're not going to get that same performance to me 2 weeks in a row. They'll be out for blood. They'll be out for revenge here, and they're going to take it out on Kansas. Utah, 12.5-point favorite, 16.5 over/under. Devin Dampier does a little bit of everything. 2,000 passing yards, 19 touchdowns, 5 picks. He's also a dual threat quarterback. You have Parker closing in on 900. One of the best, some might say the best offensive line in the country. Utah 42 points a game, throwing for 205, running for 280. Very balanced team. They dominate in the trenches at the line of scrimmage, giving up 18.5 points a game. All those numbers now elevated due to giving up 47 points to a really bad Kansas State offense last week. Kansas 28.7 points a game. It all comes down to Jayden Daniels. Jayden Daniels, when he's on, he's on. When he's off, he throws a lot of picks, creates some turnovers here. Utah, that are going to be out for revenge, bottle him up, keep him in the pocket, force him into third and long situations. Kansas giving up 26.4 points a game. The Utes rebound with a strong performance. They win 38-23. Utah gets back to their winning ways. They win this one. They cover the spread, and we're going with the over. And some SEC versus ACC rivals facing off. There is no love lost between these two teams. You have number 4, the 10-1 Georgia Bulldogs going up against number 23, the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets, just holding on to a top 25 spot. And to Georgia Tech, obviously coming off that loss versus Pitt. No surprises to us. We did call the upset last week. We picked the Pitt Panthers to beat Georgia Tech at Georgia Tech. A lot of people gave us a lot of flack for that, but Pitt easily won this game. I've been saying for weeks, Georgia Tech is barely squeaking by games. Their defense is not good. A loss is going to find them. We picked the Pitt Panthers, and it was indeed the Pitt Panthers. Georgia Tech, 13% chance to win. Bulldogs, 87% chance. But don't come in here after that game and say Georgia Tech has 0 chance to beat Georgia. If you say that, you have not been watching when these teams play the last couple seasons. Georgia Tech has almost beat Georgia each of the last 2 times, including an 8 overtime game last season. The game was theirs. They gave it away at the end, but Georgia Tech is more than capable of pulling off the upset, but the defense will have to play better. Georgia will have to help them out and not play a good game. And of course, you have King. The issue is King's like 70% of this team's offense. The rest of the team has to step up. The Bulldogs, 13.5-point favorites, 59.5 over-under. Gunnar Stockton being efficient with the ball, 2,500 yards, 19 touchdowns, 4 picks. He'll also scramble for first downs. Frazier starting to run better. Feed the ball to Branch. Give him the ball nonstop in space. On the other side, Georgia Tech, King, 2,600 yards, 12 touchdowns, 4 picks. He's ran for 915 rushing touchdowns, but the team overall has to step up. He is way too much of the overall offense. Georgia, 33.7 points a game, throwing for 240, running for 191, giving up 17.4. The Yellow Jackets, 35.3 points a game. Really good offense. It's the defense that's a weakness. They're throwing for 271, running for 215, almost 500 yards of offense every game, giving up 25.8 points a game, almost 170 on the ground. Georgia's going to look to run the ball down Georgia Tech's throat. Give me the Bulldogs winning this one. I don't know why it's at the Mercedes-Benz Dome. Should have been at the Yellow Jackets home stadium, but it is what it is. Georgia wins 34-24. I do not have this game being an 8 overtime matchup like it was last year. Georgia gets the win, but I'll go with that plus 13.5, and we're going with the under. NBC, 7:30 p.m., number 2, the Indiana Hoosiers, 11-0. This is the Fighting Cignetti's 2 10-win seasons in this entire team overall history, and they've both come the last 2 seasons under Curt Cignetti. You have to appreciate what he's done with this roster, what he's done with the competitive level for the Hoosiers. They're on the road versus 2-9 Purdue. Purdue's just not a very good football team at all. Only a 3% chance to win. Indiana, a 97% chance. The big question here for the Hoosiers, they've already done everything they need to do this regular season. This game is basically worthless. They're making the Big Ten championship. They're probably playing the Buckeyes. We'll have to wait to see what happens. But as of right now, Indiana, just handle business here. Don't leave the starters in there too long. Don't take the chance of anyone else getting hurt. And once you have a comfortable lead at halftime, get them out. Start preparing for the Big Ten championship. Hoosiers, 28.5-point favorites, 54.5 over-under. You have Fernando Mendoza, might be the Heisman frontrunner right now. 2,700 yards, 30 touchdowns, 5 picks. Hemby, Cooper, Surratt, talented wide receiver core. And on the other side, Purdue just can't get points. Only 20.2 points a game, giving up 29.6. The Hoosiers, 43.3 points a game. Top 5 offense. Throwing for 260, running for 218. Very balanced on top. They're only giving up 11.6 points per game. That's a top 3 defense. They're just a well-rounded team. Give me the Hoosiers winning this, but like I said, get the starters out. There's no style points here. You're number 2. You're in the Big Ten championship. Indiana wins this one 41-17. The Hoosiers win this one, but they don't cover the spread. Give me the plus 28.5. Like I said, get those starters rested, and we're going with the over. And how about this matchup? We have some really good Friday games coming up, but with Friday games in college football, Friday in college football means potential chaos. Weird things always happen on these late night Friday matchups. Friday, 7:30 p.m., number 3, the Texas A&M Aggies, 11-0. You gotta love what they've done, undefeated, leading the SEC right now, but let's call things like they are. They haven't played Georgia, Bama. They've avoided the best teams in their entire conference right now. That's not a good thing right now. Yes, they're doing well, but a lot of these teams, they haven't even had to play. They're going up against a ranked team this weekend. Number 16, the Texas Longhorns. 8-3. This is one of the best rivalries in college football. When the Big 12 first broke up, when the Aggies left a couple years ago, these teams did not get to play for a long time. Now that they're back in the same conference, we get to welcome back 2 teams that loathe one another, and that's just good for us college football fans. Aggies, 48.5% chance to win. The Longhorns, 51.5%. basically a 50-50 split with the fan vote. The Aggies win this one. They're in the SEC championship. No matter what, they're going to be making the playoffs. If the Longhorns pull off the upset, I don't think they'll make the final 12 because they'll still be 9-3. And that Florida loss, really bad loss. But they can just upset the Aggies season. You know they would love to do that. Aggies 2.5-point favorites. Very close spread here for the number 3 team. 51.5 over-under. Aggies, they're a disciplined team. Mike Elko, trench warfare type team. Marcel Reed's having a great season. He can run it, but he has 2,800 yards passing, 25 touchdowns, 8 picks. Talented wide receiver core. Concepcion, Craver. On the other side, Texas, when they can run the ball. Wiseman or Baxter, Arch Manning, he's actually been playing pretty good football the last couple weeks, starting to push the ball down the field. You always have to account for his scrambling ability and that wide receiver core. Help the defense out, get first downs. The defense was supposed to be the strength of this team. It has not been that way the last 5 to 6 weeks. They've been giving up a lot of points, like 37, 38 points last week to Arkansas. Aggies 38.1 points a game, throwing for 269, running for 196, giving up 21.5. The Longhorns, they don't really have a good offense this year. 29.8 points a game, throwing for 260, running for 122, giving up 20 points a game, only 92.7 on the ground. Can they take the Aggies' rushing attack away? Vice versa, can the Aggies get pressure on Arch Manning? Sometimes when he gets happy feet back there, he will throw some picks, create some turnovers, get in his face and hit him often. But I'm going to call upset here. Give me the Longhorns here. The Aggies haven't had a good, close, competitive game in some time. The Longhorns, the defense isn't playing up, but the offense is rolling right now. Texas pulls off the upset, 28-24. You heard it here. Like I said, it may be crazy, but give me the Longhorns officially pulling off the upset. I'm going to go with that plus 2.5. We're going to go with the over. In our final Friday night game, Friday, November 28th, 9 p.m. on late one, 8-3 Arizona. How about Arizona this season? They had a really bad year last year. They lost McMillan. Fafita, looking like 2023 Fafita, 2,700 yards, 25 touchdowns, 5 picks, keeping the turnovers down. They're on the road. Arizona coming in here ranked number 25. Welcome to top 25 versus number 20, the Arizona State Sun Devils. A top 25 versus top 25 matchup. Gotta love it. Sun Devils 51.4% chance to win. Arizona 48.6%. Again, practically a 50-50 split with the fans. Arizona 2-point favorites, 48.5 over-under. Wildcats 33.5 points a game, throwing for 252, running for 156, giving up 20 points a game. The Sun Devils 26.3 points a game, throwing for 220, running for 198, giving up 23 points a game. The big news here, Browns having a great season on the ground, but no Sam Levitt. Without the field general, although they've had a really good season so far, I'm looking at them losing this game. Give me Arizona getting the win here in this rivalry matchup. They pull away with the win 27-24. We're going with Arizona pulling off the win here. They cover the spread. We're going with the over. There's actually a lot riding on this game. This is an in-state rivalry matchup. Both these teams in the top 25. It is only fair that the winner gets to boot the other out of the top 25. And we have one of the biggest rivalries in college football history coming up next. Some might say this is the best college football rivalry. Coming up Saturday, November 29th, 12 p.m., the defending national champion to the number 15, the 9-2 Michigan Wolverines, slowly climbing their way up the top 25. Be the champs. You got to beat the champs. They are cruising right now. The offense is rolling. Sayan's comfortable. He's gotten more and more comfortable in this scheme. Every single week you have the running game. They have to concentrate on that ground attack. If they can get that going, that's going to open up the play action. Probably the most talented, deepest wide receiver core in the nation. Smith, Tate, Ennis. The big news, though, are you going to have Jeremiah Smith? Are you going to have Tate this game? Are you going to need them? You had the number 1 defense last season. They have the number 1 defense again this season. This defense might actually be even better than the one last year. It is crazy stuff. Ryan Day, he has the Buckeyes rolling right now. Patricia, Hartline, they're cruising on all cylinders, but they always hit a roadblock every single year. They won the national championship last season, and still, they lost for the 4th straight year to the number 18, the 9-2 Michigan Wolverines. Michigan knows how to beat the Buckeyes. Michigan could have no wins right now, and you cannot overlook this game because when you have a national championship Buckeyes team, they still dropped this game, final regular season game last year, so anything can happen in this game. Take the records, throw them out of the window. Michigan, 21.8% chance to win. The Buckeyes, 78.2 heavy fan favorites. Buckeyes are 10-point favorites. That's a huge spread for a rivalry game. 44.5 over-under, but they have the playmakers here. What is Michigan's rushing attack going to look like? They want to concentrate on Marshall, but you also have to account for the freshman Underwood. He's not a dual-threat quarterback, but if the first down's there, he will take off, he will scramble, he will pick up the first down. The biggest weakness for Michigan, they don't have a lot of skill position players at the wide receiver position. That kind of puts the quarterback in a tough situation. That Buckeyes defensive 7 is so good. If they take away the Michigan rushing attack, that's the primary way that Michigan can beat you is running the ball. You're not going to be able to out-muscle the Buckeyes and vice versa. These are two line of scrimmage trench warfare football teams. They both want to own the line. Who's going to come out on top? Buckeyes have been doing it every single game this season, but Michigan wants to end that here. Ohio State, 37.9 points a game. They're efficient. 270 passing yards, 170 rushing yards. Check out the defense. Only giving up 7.6 points per game. Crazy numbers. Only 126.6 through the air. Caleb Downs in that secondary, locking things down. Bryce Underwood, he's going to have a tough game pushing the ball down the field. They're going to have success running, but the Buckeyes are only giving up 80.0 on the ground. Elite front 7. Michigan, 29.3 points a game, throwing for 197, running for 224, a run-heavy team running right into the strength of this Buckeyes team, which is that defensive front 7, and they're giving up 17.9. Sharon Moore's team, very good defense, great rushing attack, but who's going to own the line of scrimmage? Who's going to be able to force the other team to play their style of bully football because they both want to attack you the same way, the ground and pound, and have that open up the passing attack. But if you have Jeremiah Smith, if you have Tate show up this game, I'm going Buckeyes. I think it's really close, might even be tied at halftime, but Ohio State pulls away late third, fourth quarter. They win 28-16. Ryan Day finally gets that hurdle off his shoulder here. He conquers the unconquerable. He finally beats Michigan for the first time in, 5 seasons? They're going to win this one on the money line. I have the Buckeyes covering the spread, but we're just ever so slightly going with the under. ESPN at 12 p.m. Number 5, the Texas Tech Red Raiders 10-1. Who would have ever thought that Texas Tech would be a line of scrimmage football team? But that's what they are this season. They can line up with anyone in the country right now. That defense is top 10, top 5 in the nation currently, and they have a really good offense. They can throw, they can run. They have a great front 7, the number 1 transfer portal class coming in. They're on the road versus the 4-7 West Virginia Mountaineers. Rich Rodriguez would love nothing more than to upset the Red Raiders here. West Virginia, 8.5% chance to win. Texas Tech, 91.5. Red Raiders, 23.5 point favorites, 53.5 over under. You have Morton. Texas Tech,
our next game is one of the best games of the
red
weekend.
zone offense.
It's a ranked
makes them even more
matchup.
deadly.
12 p.m. on
2200 passing
ABC.
yards, 17 touchdowns, 4 picks. Dickey's closing in on 1,000 on the ground. Red Raiders, 42.6 points a game, throwing for 288, running for 194. But it's the defense, only giving up 12.3 points per game. That's top 5 in the country. Only 71.8 yards on the ground. This entire season, they've had a top 3 rush defense, not in the Big 12, in the entire nation. West Virginia, 23.7 points a game, giving up 29.2. I don't think they have any chance. Texas Tech, they've been covering spreads left and right. They win this one 44-20. Now, the Texas Tech Red Raiders win this one. They barely cover the spread, and we're going with the over. Number 13, the Miami Hurricanes, 9-2. This is a game Miami has no options. They have to win it. They still have a shot, probably not to get an ACC. They could get that. They need some chaos on Saturday, but they can get an at-large spot. I've been very clear about this the last couple weeks. Miami should be ranked a whole lot closer to Notre Dame. The head-to-head has to matter. As long as you have the same record, the very next thing everyone looks at is head-to-head matchups. And they have the head-to-head versus the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Like it or not, it is what it is. They won on the field. Number 12, the Miami Hurricanes. Going up against, obviously, welcome to top 25. Welcome back to the top 25. Number 22, the Pitt Panthers. Pitt's coming off of beating the crap out of Georgia Tech. No surprises there. We did pick them to pull off the upset, so things went the way we thought they would. Miami, 70% chance to win. The Panthers, 30% chance. The Hurricanes are 6.5 point favorites, 51.5 over under. Since that loss to SMU, Carson Beck has been on point. He has like 11 touchdowns, no picks. Overall, closing on a 2,900 yards, 22 touchdowns, 9 picks. You have Fletcher. It's what Pringles brought to the offense. They've been putting in more and more complete offensive performances. Malachi Toney, he's the best freshman in the entire country. Keelan Marion stepped up. They're going to be getting C.J. Daniels back potentially this weekend. On the other side, though, do not underestimate this Panthers offense. They can move the ball, especially feet through the air. Heinchel's throwing the ball up and down, filling in. He's only been the starter for a couple games, 1,900 yards, 14 touchdowns, 6 picks. What worries me about the Panthers? They don't have the best offensive line. Miami might have the best pass rushing duo in the entire nation. Some say the best pass rush overall in the entire country. Mesidor, Ruben Bain, they're going to be coming after him, pinning their ears back. Miami 33.7 points a game, throwing for 276, running for 151, only giving up 14.5 points per game. Number 8 defense in the entire country. Panthers 37.6 points a game, throwing for 282, running for 125, 23.7 points per game. Both teams overall really good rush defenses. Miami's secondary a little banged up right now. There's so much riding on this game. Narduzzi made it very clear they didn't need the Notre Dame game. They needed this game. This is what can get them to the ACC championship. Miami, they win this game, they wrap up the regular season with a potential top 25 win, and the naysayers won't have anything else to say. They'll have to move them into that at-large spot. Give me Miami eking the win out, 28-23. Hurricanes win it, but I'll go with that plus 6.5, and we're going to go with the over. 1 p.m. ESPN2, 5-6, the UCF Knights. Scott Frost here looking to get back to bowl eligibility on the road versus number 11, BYU 10-1. BYU coming off a very close win for Cincinnati, but Cincinnati was a solid team. They were healthy. BYU beat them on the road. One thing the Cougars have shown, this is a line of scrimmage football team. Yes, they don't have an offense that's going to score a buttload of points, but they're physical. They attack you. They ground and pound. They win in the third and fourth quarter. When it's money time, they'd love to get to the Big 12 championship and potentially get a shot at that rematch versus Texas Tech. BYU 93.6% chance to win. UCF 6.4. Cougars 17.5 point favorites. 47.5 over under. So much going to come down to Bear Bachmeier. He's doing everything. He's a true freshman quarterback. 2,300 yards, 13 touchdowns, 4 picks. Very hard to bring down. But we all know it's all about Martin. Martin's closing in on 1,200 yards on the ground. UCF 24.6 points a game, throwing for 218, running for 169, giving up 22 a game. BYU, one of the more complete teams, one of the most balanced offenses in the nation. 33.4 points a game, throwing for 213, running for 202. Solid rushing attack, top 15 in the country, only giving up 17.5 points per game. They have the offense. They control time of possession. They run the ball. They have a very good defense. BYU wins this one 28-17. Cougars pull off the win, but going with the plus 17.5, going with the under. One of our old Pac-12 rivalry games, 3:30 p.m. CBS. Number 7, the Oregon Ducks, 10-1. Coming off that win versus USC, they're riding high right now. Everything is in front of them to make the playoffs. They just have to handle business. They'll be on the road versus 8-3 Washington Huskies. Washington, very difficult place for the road team to play, and these are old foes out of the Pac-12. This is a rivalry game. Bordering states, Washington would love nothing more than to give the Ducks a last-minute loss to end the season. Huskies 24.9 points a game. Jed Fish has this offense rolling, and they play solid defense. Oregon, 75.1% chance to win. Dan Lanning, he's been recruiting well. Top 10 overall roster, recruiting, portal, doing everything they need to do to put together a very competitive roster. This team is built on the offensive, defensive lines from the inside out. They can line up with anyone in the country, run it right at you. One of the best rushing attacks in the nation, top 3 overall. Some say the best offensive line in the country. Oregon 6.5 points a game, giving up 52.5. And they have a 3-headed monster at the running back position, led by Dante Moore, the quarterback, 2,500 yards, 23 touchdowns, 6 picks. Sadiq is just unstoppable at the tight end. They've been banged up at wide receiver. As long as they get these guys back by playoff time, they're a team that could easily compete and win the national championship. On the other side, Williams Jr., he's a little bit of everything for Washington. 2,800 yards, 19 touchdowns, 6 picks. Oregon's averaging 39.3 points a game, top 15 offense. Throwing for 243, running for 229, perfect balance. Only giving up 14.9 points a game, top 10 in the country. Washington, 36.5 points a game, throwing for 257, running for 170. They're also a balanced attack, giving up 18.8. It's not top 10, but it's top 20. That's definitely good enough, and they're at home. To me, this game's very close first half. Ducks pull away second half. They win 33-20. Oregon continues that momentum second half. They win this one. They cover the spread, and we'll go with the over. Moving back over to the SEC, 3:30 p.m. on ABC, 7-4 LSU Tigers. Brian Kelly has been fired. The Tigers, top 10 overall roster, they cannot score points to save their life. And unfortunately for them, they're wrapping up the regular season versus the number 1 defense in the SEC, the 9-2 Oklahoma Sooners, number 8 in the country. Oklahoma, If you handle business here, you get an at-large spot, you make the playoffs. If you drop this one, finish 9-3, you might get booted out of that top 12, so there's zero room for error. But LSU, they would love to rally here, get some type of momentum leading up to the bowl game, but that's going to be a very hard mountain to climb. Oklahoma 10-point favorites, 37.5 over-under. This is going to be a low-scoring game. Both these teams have great defenses. Both these teams have virtually no offense at all. John Mateer, at first it was his hand, but when you watch the last game, he was missing wide open receivers. This offense is just not a good offense right now, but their defense, that defensive front seven, they get after it, and they're winning old school style football, backyard football, but it's working so far. Props to them. Props to Brent Venables. LSU, Nussmeier, this team can throw it. They can run it. They're averaging 22.6 points a game. The worst offense in the SEC, one of the worst in the country. Throwing for 237, only running for 108. That's not going to cut it. Giving up 18.5 points a game. Their defense is keeping them competitive. That defense, at least they know they can bring it with them on the road here. Oklahoma, 27.3 points a game, throwing for 222, running for 128, giving up 14 points a game. That's the number 5 defense in the country. They get after it, and they are fired up right now. They are not sleeping on this game. They have their eyes on the playoffs. They know they have to win it, and no matter what, they're going to be getting non-stop, consistent pressure on the quarterback, creating turnovers, giving them good field position. They win this one 27-14. Number 14, the Vanderbilt Commodores 9-2. I will say this about Vandy. Their only ranked win currently is versus Missouri. Missouri's going to be getting booted out of the top 25. Yes, they're in the SEC. No ranked wins currently. When you're looking at teams like Miami, BYU, at least they have a ranked win in their name. They're on the road versus number 20, the Tennessee Volunteers, 8-3. Tennessee, their defense is atrocious, but their offense is top 5 in the country. They can score with anyone. Josh Heupel, one of the best offensive minds, but do not underestimate the Commodores here. Pavia, my biggest issue there is he's like 75% of this team's offense. If you stop Pavia, you stop the Commodores, but obviously so far this season, that's easier said than done. Vandy, 42.4% chance to win. Tennessee, 57.6%. The Vols, 2.5-point favorites, 65.5 over-under. Vegas sees a buttload of points being scored. Pavia, 3,000 yards, 26 touchdowns, 6 picks. They'd love to keep him in the Heisman conversation here. Almost 700 rushing, 8 rushing touchdowns. On the other side, Joey Aguilar, he was on this team like a week. Week 1 started. They've never looked back. 3,200 yards, 23 touchdowns, 10 picks. You have Bishop, Brazel, massive, tall wide receiver core. Vandy, 38.9 points a game, throwing for 284, running for 174, giving up 21.7. Tennessee, 42.3 points a game, throwing for 308, running for 183. No matter who they've played, they've been able to move the ball at will and score points. It's just they can't stop anyone. The Commodores are going to get their points. Volunteers, and at least they had a good fight versus Florida last week. They're giving up 27.3 points a game. I'm going to ride with Josh Heupel. To me, this offense, it's unstoppable. I don't trust the Vandy defense. Tennessee, but I don't trust the Tennessee defense either. Tennessee wins this one 37-30. Rivalry week continues, 7 p.m. ESPN, 3-8 Virginia Tech. Yes, their coach has been fired. You have James Franklin. He's probably going to be there at this game on the road. On the road versus number 19, the Virginia Cavaliers, 9-2 Virginia. If they handle business here, they will be in the ACC Championship with a shot at the playoffs. Give them some props. They have an 80.1% chance to win. Virginia Tech, 19.9. Virginia Tech actually didn't play too bad of a game versus Miami. They were able to run the ball. They are kind of running like a little bit of a triple option offense right now. They're 10.5-point underdogs. Cavaliers, 10.5-point favorites. 52.5 over-under. Kyle Jones, 19-yard passing, 16 touchdowns, 7 picks. But if they're going to beat you, it's going to be time of possession, running the ball nonstop. Their goal, rush for over 200 here, control the pace of the game, keep the ball away from Morris in that Virginia offense's hands. Virginia Tech, 22.7 points a game, throwing for 174, running for 188, giving up 30.5 points per game. On the other side, Virginia, very capable offense, 33.7 points a game. They have the veteran Morris. Taylor closing in on 1,000 yards himself, throwing for 250, running for 188, giving up 21.2. This is a rivalry game. Virginia Tech, they just want to win here. They want to impress Franklin. And Virginia, keep your eyes on the prize here, getting the ACC Championship. Cavaliers win this one 31-23. And how about the Old Iron Bowl coming up next? This is going to be a fun game. It's one of the top rivalries in college football. 7:30 p.m. ABC. Number 10, the Alabama Crimson Tide, 9-2. They cannot afford to lose this game. If they lose this one, they are out of the playoffs. That would put so much heat on Kalen DeBoer. They're going up against 5-6 Auburn. Auburn, if they win this one, yes, their coach has been fired, but this is a chance for some pride here. They would be fine winning 5 games if it lets them beat Alabama and knock the Crimson Tide out of the playoffs. They've almost had a shot the last couple seasons. They've not been able to close it out at the end of the fourth quarter. Maybe this is finally the year they get over the hump. And on top of that, they get that little side prize of kicking the Crimson Tide out of the playoffs. Right now, Auburn, 26.5% chance to win. Bama, 73.5%. Alabama, 5.5-point favorites, which is actually a really close spread here versus a 5-6 Auburn team. Just lets you know how much Vegas is respecting Auburn. The over-under, 47.5. Ty Simpson has to play better. 3,000 yards, 22 touchdowns, 4 picks. But I've been saying the entire year, Alabama's biggest issue, they cannot consistently run the ball, especially versus Power 4 teams. Miller only 410 on the ground. If you beat Auburn in the playoffs, if you run like you've been running the last 2 months, you're only going to have one round and you're going to get sent home. They have Bernard. They have Ryan Williams, a top 5 overall roster. Some might say the number 1 roster in the nation. They definitely have talent here. Auburn, 27.4 points a game. Jackson Arnold didn't get the start. You had Deuce Knight starting last game. He actually looked pretty good. He's a true freshman, though. Can you expect a true freshman to go up against Alabama and win them and kick them out of the playoffs? That'd be quite the story. But you know what happens when you play at Jordan-Hare? Crazy things happen, so expect the unexpected. Auburn's throwing for 192, running for 179, giving up 20.1 points a game. Their defense can keep them in this game. They're only giving up 94 on the ground. Bama doesn't run the ball well anyways. If they can make Alabama one-dimensional, as they naturally are, force them into third and long situations at home, maybe they have a shot to pull off the upset. Crimson Tide, 33.8 points a game. Throwing for 293, running for 123, giving up 16.2. They also have that good defense. They can bring it on the road. Auburn showed their fight. Think back to that Aggies game. They can bring their A game. They can upset a playoff caliber team. But can they do it here versus a freshman? I think it's going to be very close. I think it's going to be a one-possession game down to that final drive. I think Bama scores either a touchdown or a field goal within the final minutes to make it a two-possession game. They win it 27-17, but keep your eye on this one. 7:30 p.m. on NBC, the 3-8 UCLA Bruins on the road versus number 15, if you want to call it on the road, because it's technically not. But playing number 15, the USC Trojans, 8-3, coming off that loss this past weekend to the Oregon. As bad as the loss was, the game was within reach. They actually could have won that game. Sloppy performance. The running game wasn't working. They could not stop the Ducks from rushing the ball. But obviously that's Oregon's specialty. But the Trojans, they actually had a chance to make it a win. They didn't get it. Lincoln Riley under pressure. But no matter what, if they finish the season 9-3, that's still higher than what they were expected to last year. With the number 1 recruiting class coming in, guys, everyone calm down. The future's bright. No one had USC going to the playoffs this season. But when they didn't make the playoffs, now everyone's mad. Look at your preseason predictions. You never had them there anyways. They played above what they were supposed to. Give them a chance. They're going to be more competitive next season overall. Trojans, 95% chance to win. Bruins, 5% chance. USC, 21.5-point favorites. Huge spread. 59.5 over-under. Will Nico be playing this game? That's a big question there. But it's not like he's really having a great season anyways. USC, Mayava, 3,200 yards, 21 touchdowns, 8 picks. You have Miller. You have Lemon. Lane might be the best 1-2 wide receiver combo in the entire nation. Bruins 18.9 a game, giving up 33.8. Their offense isn't good. Their defense is even worse. USC 37.2 points a game, throwing for 301, running for 178, giving up 23.5 points a game. The biggest question is, where's their headspace here? How do they rebound off that loss to Oregon? As long as they stay focused, you know Lincoln Riley's going to have that offense ready to go. USC wins this one 38-20. 7:30 p.m. ESPNU, 1-10 Charlotte coming off of losing that game to Georgia. Charlotte hasn't scored over 20 points in like 6 or 7 straight games on the road versus number 24, Tulane. This team is focused right now. Summerall has his team playing. Retzlaff, the transfer portal quarterback, he can throw it, he can run it. They have an adaptable, multiple offense. 96.9% chance to win. Charlotte 3.1. Tulane's 29.5-point favorites, 53 over-under. Don't forget what Tulane is looking at here. Being the group of 5 representative potentially in the playoffs, as long as they handle business, win this game, win their conference, they might be one of the highest ranked conference champions in the country. If you're in the top 5 champs, you get a shot in the playoffs. Charlotte 15.6 points a game, giving up 37.2, almost 3 times the amount they score. That's how bad this team is. Tulane, you gotta beat them. 28.8 points a game, giving up 24.8. I don't think the game's close at all, but give me Charlotte at least scoring a couple points. Tulane wins this one 34-14. 10:30 p.m. ESPN number 9. The Notre Dame Fighting Irish 9-2. They're on a 9-game winning streak right now. They have a chance to close out 10-2, stamp their ticket for the playoffs on the road versus 4-7 Stanford. The Irish 95.5% chance to win. Stanford 4.5. Notre Dame's 32.5 point favorites, 51 over-under, coming off of a 70 burger versus Syracuse, where they won that one 70-7. Crazy stuff. The best 1-2 running back combo in the nation. Price Love, 17 rushing touchdowns. They're going to get him touches here. They want to send him to New York for the Heisman. CJ Carr, 22 touchdowns, 6 picks, 2,600 yards. The Irish, 41.4 points a game, throwing for 248, running for 205, giving up 17.4 points per game. Their physicality, no one wants to play this team right now, but let's call things like they are. They haven't had the most difficult schedule after that Aggies game. Yes, they beat the Trojans, they beat Pitt, but if Pitt loses this weekend, they're not going to finish the season ranked either, so they still only have one top 25 win potentially to their name, but there's no doubt this team is talented. Right here, there's the chance for Stanford to pull off the biggest upset of the season, but that's highly, highly unlikely. They're only averaging 18.7 points a game, throwing for 222, running for 83.5. That's not going to cut it versus this physical Notre Dame team, and they're giving up 27.4. Like I said, the Irish, 41.4 points a game, throwing for 248, running for 205, only giving up 17.4. That first 34 weeks, they were giving up a lot of points. Since then, they've been shutting people down. They finished last season number 3 overall defense, and since about week 4, they've been playing like that again this year. Give me the Irish curb stomping their way through this game, but get those starters out as soon as you get a good lead. Get them out. You're going to make the playoffs. Be ready for the playoff round. Notre Dame wins this one 42-17. And at 8 p.m. on ESPN2, welcome back to the Top 25. Might be one of the front runners, Vegas-wise, to win the ACC and make the playoffs back-to-back seasons. Number 21, 8-3 SMU Mustangs. Rhett Lashley has this offense firing on all cylinders. They're starting to play really good defense. They're on the road versus 6-5 Cal. Cal, obviously, they've had some coaching issues going on right now. SMU, 85.5% chance to win. Cal, 14.5% chance. The Mustangs, 13.5 point favorites, 53.5 over-under. So much of this game, you have Jennings. Jennings has really stepped things up the last couple games. 3,200 yards, 24 touchdowns, 9 picks. He's a dual threat quarterback. Hasn't been running too much this season. He's been letting his arm do all the work for him, but the legs are there. If you flush him out of that pocket, be aware he can take off. He can scramble. He can take off in that first down. TJ Harden, Hudson, Brinson, a lot of weapons on this team. They've been working the transfer portal. SMU, 32.7 points a game, throwing for 287, running for 127, only giving up 19.1 per game. Really good rush defense, actually. Secondary, a lot of issues, getting up about 281 through the air, but they're shutting down the run, only giving up 104.5. Cal, they've showed some promise this season. They've showed some bad games. Young freshman quarterback actually playing pretty good, but there's no consistency here. Only 23.6 points a game, throwing for 266, running for 72.4. They can't run the ball. SMU already shuts down the run. That is a bad mix right there. They're going to put a lot of pressure on the quarterback. A lot of third and long situations might be kind of iffy, and they're giving up 25.7 points per game. Give me the Mustangs finishing the regular season with 9 wins, and they win this one 32-20. So I had them getting the W, but I'll go with that plus 13.5, and we're just ever so slightly going with the under. It's a huge spread. I obviously have the Irish winning a convincing win, but I'll go with the plus 32.5, and we're going to go with the over. So that's all of our best bets for all of our Week 14 college football games. It is crazy to say that the last weekend of college football for the regular season, it will wrap up after Sunday. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment down below. What's your favorite games? What's your favorite picks coming up? Let me know what your final score predictions are in the comment section. If you want to sign up for one of our member teams, check out that pinned comment down below. And as always, thank you for watching.